Diamonds are a girl's best friend. These beautiful gemstones are incredibly rare and ridiculously expensive, so it's no wonder women have cherished diamonds for generations. Hollywood has only cemented how much women love these gems through decades of film, such as Breakfast at Tiffany's in the 1960s with Audrey Hepburn, Pretty Woman in the 90s with Julia Roberts, and every single year during award season, jewelry companies loan out millions of dollars worth of diamonds to be worn on the red carpet to further cement our belief that diamonds are luxurious, priceless gemstones that every woman should lust over. Now, unfortunately, everything you've been taught to believe about the valuable nature of diamonds is a complete lie, and one of the world's most successful scams that has now been running for over 100 years. In order to understand how this scam started, we have to go all the way back to the year 1871. In that year, an 18-year-old Englishman named Cecil Rhodes, who was living in South Africa at the time, began a nefarious plot that would change the world forever. At the time, there were various mines in South Africa, and in many of these mines, these large gemstones known as diamonds would be found quite frequently. Because they were so frequent and they look a lot less appealing before they are polished into the glistening gems you see today, they weren't considered valuable at the time. Now Cecil, being the evil little genius that he was, devised a plan to turn these common gemstones into what would become one of the world's most valuable resources. He did this by buying up all the mines in South Africa, backed by the funding of the infamous Rothschilds and their near-endless wealth. Once he had acquired all the mines, he now controlled all the supply and could artificially cause the supply to always be lower than the demand, making sure that the price of these near-worthless gems would continue to climb in price. Despite near-complete control of the diamonds being mined, Cecil needed a way to make these gems more valuable, and he did this by controlling the sale of the diamonds around the world by starting a monopoly of shell companies to market and control the supply at every corner of the globe. His original company, the De Beers Group, set up shell companies like the Central Selling Organization in Europe, as well as the Diamond Trading Company in England, and even a group known as the Syndicate that operated out of Israel. Doing this turned diamonds from what was once considered a near-worthless piece of carbon into a now highly sought-after gemstone that royalty and the upper class began to cherish and pay top dollar for. Despite all that hard work, the middle class still mostly avoided these gems, as the practice of giving diamond rings to the woman you want to marry was something that didn't exist yet. That would all change, however, during the Great Depression of the 1930s. During the Great Depression, an ad agency run by N.W. Ayer on behalf of the De Beers Company set out to make diamonds a must-have item for all Americans. Ayer began giving out diamonds to celebrities of the time to increase their appeal to those who looked up to these people. Charlie Chaplin's wife would wear these diamonds to various events, as well as fashion designer Coco Chanel, and many other celebrities of the time began to make diamonds a must-have item for every outing they went to. This worked to increase the sale of diamonds, but most Americans still were poor at the time and just weren't willing to spend money on these unneeded gemstones. This all changed when De Beers started marketing diamond rings as engagement rings for men wanting to propose to women. Ayer's ad agency came up with the now famous slogan, "A diamond is forever," in 1947, along with marketing telling men they should be spending 2 months' salary on these engagement rings if they really cared about the woman they wanted to marry.
There's something I gotta do.
Oh, yeah?
I love this woman! I love her!
What are you doing? Stop!
Okay, then I guess this will have to do.
Oh, my God. I love this man. I love him, I love him, I love him.
For multiple generations now, men have been throwing money down the drain on worthless diamonds, all because one ad agency successfully conned the world into buying these stones from a monopoly run by the greedy De Beers Company. Now, if you don't want to take my word that diamonds are worthless, the chairman of the De Beers Company, Nicky Oppenheimer, stated in an interview in 1999 that diamonds are intrinsically worthless. If the chairman of the company that created the monopoly publicly admits that these things have no value, it's pretty hard for anyone to provide a counter-argument to that, and it's safe to say that every man that ever bought a diamond ring for the girl he loves 100% got completely scammed. Now, obviously, I'm not the first to cover this scam. Many have done so in the past, with Adam Ruins Everything doing it over a decade ago and getting a massive 14 million views on that video. I wonder why I decided to talk about this subject. Now, unfortunately, Adam Ruins Everything also ruined his own video by spreading some false information that people still think is true to this day.
In fact, they're quite common. The only reason diamonds are even expensive is that De Beers has a global monopoly on diamond mining, and they artificially restrict the supply to jack the prices up. But in reality, those assholes have a fuck ton of them.
Because of that video and others like it, many people think the price of diamonds is still so high because the De Beers company owns a monopoly and limits the supply to jack up the prices. You'll find comments all over the internet with people claiming De Beers has vaults filled with diamonds that they trickle out in slow amounts to keep the prices high. Unfortunately, that simply isn't true. While it is true that the De Beers company did control about 90% of the world's diamond supply for most of the 1900s, in the 1980s, public perception around the diamond industry began to change. De Beers shell companies around the world who had a monopoly on the supply were exposed, and many of those shell companies were closed. On top of that, many countries began passing laws prohibiting blood diamonds, or those that use slave labor to mine diamonds. At the time, the majority of De Beers mines used slave labor to some extent. In 2003, the Clean Diamond Trade Act was passed that prevented the import or export of rough diamonds into the USA unless they can be certified as conflict-free. All of this had a crushing impact to De Beers' diamond monopoly. Today the companies still exist, but they're just a shell of their former self, with profits dwindling every year, and now they only control about 29% of the world's diamond supply, with a Russian diamond company, Alrosa, controlling a slightly larger chunk at 30%. So if the De Beers company no longer has a monopoly on the diamond supply, you may be asking, why hasn't the price of diamonds collapsed if these things really are worthless? Well, the first main reason is that the demand for diamonds is still so high. N.W. Wire's marketing campaign to turn these worthless gems into a must-buy item was so effective that it's been ingrained in Western culture that you simply must buy one for a woman you want to propose to. If a man proposed to a woman in 2024 and didn't get her a diamond ring, chances are the woman might actually say no, and all of his friends and family might think he's too broke to buy her one, or simply doesn't care enough to do so. On top of the engagement ring market, diamonds are flaunted by celebrities and are even flaunted in the hip-hop and rap communities. These worthless gems have become so ingrained in our modern culture that despite many people now knowing they're worthless, the continued demand for them keeps the price high, so jewelry stores can continue to sucker people into buying worthless pieces of carbon. The second main reason diamonds haven't crashed in price is because of an orchestrated plot by companies like De Beers, as well as jewelry manufacturers, to slander the production of artificial or lab-grown diamonds. Decades ago, scientists discovered how to create diamonds in laboratory settings. At first, these diamonds were dull in color and only had value in industrial applications, but over years, the process has been refined, and they can now produce diamonds for a fraction of the cost of mined diamonds that look exactly the same. To the naked eye, no one can tell the difference between the modern lab-grown diamonds and those mined from the earth. It requires specific jewelry equipment to be able to test the diamonds to determine if they are lab-grown or natural. Many jewelry stores do sell lab-grown diamonds these days, but constant marketing attempts to label these diamonds as fake or inferior has led to most people not wanting to buy them. I think many women today, if told their husband or fiance bought her a lab-grown diamond instead of a natural one, would be pretty upset with that fact, despite the two diamonds being identical to the naked eye. Diamond laboratories that make these have the capacity to flood the market with artificial diamonds, which would collapse the price of the entire market. However, there just isn't enough demand for these gems, and because of that, many jewelry stores will only buy a limited supply of these stones. Until people accept that lab-grown diamonds are exactly the same as the earth-grown ones, the price of diamonds most likely won't see any significant change. Hopefully, this video can have an impact on how people view diamonds going forward. My channel viewership is mostly men, so guys, be sure to show this video to your girlfriend or wives, and hopefully we can convince at least some of them to stop lusting over worthless gemstones that have no intrinsic value. If you show this video to your girlfriend and she still says she wants you to buy her a worthless diamond ring worth 2 months' salary if you ever propose to her, well, it sounds like she's just a little too materialistic, and it might be time to look for a new relationship. I'm sure those who love their diamonds will disagree with me though, and I look forward to reading all the comments below of people defending their diamond purchases and telling me how they'll continue to do so for years to come. But my opinion is that diamonds are a complete scam, and if you disagree with me, please let me know why you think so in the comments below.